Lewis from Cinco has R22 AC worries.
Well, I actually think what he's got is bad information.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry too much.
Lewis writes, I have R22 AC units.
So do I.
Got two of them.
So
do I. So
do you?
Actually, I've got two. I've got upgraded one.
One upgraded? Okay.
Yeah, but Lewis says he's read that Texas is only going to allow these things, Tom, until 2020.
Okay.
A well-known contractor is asking $15,000 to replace his units. The older one, he says, is 10 years old and has an evaporator leak and is very short on R22. But Lewis wants to know, Tom, should he replace both of them to beat this 2020 deadline on R22?
There is no 2020 deadline.
Thank you.
Now, they're phasing R22 out, but for the mere fact that they haven't been selling a lot of them, so the demand for R22 is becoming smaller and smaller. The demand for R410A is greater because the new units use R410A. But the only thing that strikes me here is, well, a couple things. $15,000 if you're going to replace them, that's not a ripoff. That's what it's going to cost to replace them. 10-year-old unit, would I replace it? Absolutely not. It can go another decade. And nobody's going to tell you can't get R22 or the R22 replacements. They are out there. The thing that you do need to fix, and this is where you have to think about one of those units, should you replace the whole thing, is that evaporator coil. You can't fix it, so you need a new one. You can't have a system that leaks R22 or R410. That's not right. So the leaks have to be fixed. If it's an evaporator coil, it has to be replaced. Now, you can buy an evaporator coil today that we can put R22 in, and then when you replace the outside unit 10 years later and that coil's still good, the R410A is fine because the evaporator coils can use either or. The condensing units, they're one or the other, but not the evaporator coils. So you got to look at your pocketbook. You don't worry about what you're reading or hearing. It's not true. You'll always have access to R22 or equivalent if you still have systems out there. They will quit selling R22 units. They're selling them right now, but they're going to stop next month. So there will be no more sold. And even the dry units, they're not going to sell them anymore. In fact, we just bought a few for HCC so we could have some training modules down the road because we won't be able to get them unless they're used and taken out of people's homes. But as far as that goes, that's up to you. But I probably wouldn't do anything but replace the coil, go ahead and get the systems checked and running real well, and you'll probably be somewhere around no more than $2,000 for the whole kit and caboodle, and you'll be good for the summer and a lot more summers down the road.
Okay. On that leak thing, I mean, if it's leaking, they're not allowed to put more in it, right? I mean, if there's
they're not
a leak,
supposed to put more on any unit that has a leak of any kind of refrigerant. You always have to fix the leak. It's a closed system. And some of them are very easy to fix. The one place you can't fix a leak, or one of a couple, is an evaporator coil. But you just replace that coil. It's not that big a deal. And then you recharge the unit. And they'll reclaim what they can out of it. They'll recharge the unit with maybe 6 pounds of Freon. And it's not going to be that big a deal. It'll be $2,000 as opposed to $15,000.
give or take.
Yeah, because I want you to do all the systems. You need a new capacitor. Get the whole thing tuned up for the summer. That's what everybody should be doing right now, including changing your filters.
Give me an ugly look because he saw.
I saw one of his ugly filters, and I couldn't believe like a dead dog was in it.
I suffered for our art friends because what it is, I let that filter get dirty so that we could use it in a video.
Right?
That's what it is. If you've seen the one on balancing that's at HomeShowRadio.com.
It's a good one, too.
That's my dirty filter. Do you have a question, clean or dirty, filter-wise? We'll answer them right here. Just click on the Ask Tom button. Send it our way, and we'll handle it here or in a video or Sunday morning on Early Edition, what I mean to say. And, of course, Tom is here every Saturday and Sunday, and he means what he says.
I do, in a nice way.
And on Sports Radio 610.